All right, so we're continuing on with the demonstration of how to edit the JSON data in the file that we included for Direct Publisher. And we're going to go over the different types and classifications of videos that you can enter into the file. So in the previous one, we went over the classification called short form videos, right? Then now we're going to go over the classification called movies. I do want to stress, you see how there's a little comma right here? What that means is that in this sample file that Roku is providing you, they're showing you how to classify all your different content under the video types that they want you to classify them in. So again, you can use this. You're perfectly able to use this format. You can separate your short form videos, your little 15-minute clips from your longer movies. But your channel will work with just one of them. So it could be just movies, or it could be just short form video. Again, Roku wants you to separate out all of your types of content, but your direct publisher channel does not require you to separate out that content. So I just want to make that absolutely clear. Your direct publisher channel will work by just having either short form videos and movies and including every video in your channel in that. But let's go over it since Roku has included it. So we have a section called movies, and in there we're identifying all of our movies. So let's go over the fields in movies. We have an ID, and again, this is always going to be something unique. They've just created a unique string here separated with underscores. By the way, it's really important for those of you who are not familiar. When you're doing coding, don't put spaces in anything that has to be used as an identifier or a file name. Always put underscores instead of spaces. When you do that, you create something that you're guaranteed, basically, that won't mess up when you try to call it as an identifier. If you put spaces in, it's not always reliable. So programmers have always put underscores in things where there are spaces when we're dealing with something like an ID, which needs to be exact. And we don't want to risk just having spaces in there and then having that information may or may not match when we need it to. So always use underscores if you need to put spaces in your identifiers. We got a title, Introduction to the Course. We got some content. Now we had a date added here, and then we have another video. We've gone over this in the previous section. Again, the video type is MP4. We only really need one. We put the full URL to it, and then we put the quality as HD. The duration, very important again, it's a number of seconds. So always the duration will be a number of seconds. It's not minutes, it's seconds. It's not hours, it's seconds. You must break everything down into seconds. And then our language code, which is English US. All right, so then moving down here, we have a thumbnail. We have the short description, and we can see here that we're putting in a short description. We have a release date, the date we want it released, or the date it was released. And again, this is not critical. Release date is something that's available for you to add. You would actually have to build a channel that would use that. The release date, I believe there is a place for it in Direct Publisher, but is not required, but you must include it. So let's just go ahead and say release date should be in there, and it should be the date you release this video. Long description. All right, so now we're going to have a long description here. Again, we try to keep these things to like 2 sentences. Long description doesn't mean write a paragraph. It means try to keep it to about two sentences and make them short. Always err on the side of being shorter. Brief is better. Long is almost always going to get you into trouble with your text being cut off or somehow breaking your file because you have too many characters. You do not want to do that. Keep all your descriptions short. Use standard keyboard characters. Do not use combination characters or characters you get by pressing Control and something else. Those things are just to be stayed away from. Just use the alphabet and the numbers and your basic keyboard characters right along the top row of your numbers on your keyboard. Stick to that. Do not use characters outside of that. And by all means, in any of these, when you're doing descriptions, do not put double quotes. Now, you can see, I'll say that it's a good rule not to put double quotes, but you can see you can use this slash. And if you absolutely have to have double quotes, you can use this slash, and then you can put the double quote. This slash is called a release character. It means, okay, it means, all right, here I am, I'm going to break the rules. I'm going to use a double quote, so ignore the fact that I used a double quote here. That's what this slash means. It's called a release character. It basically says to the system that's reading this data file, okay, I need to use a double quote. For some reason, I absolutely have to use a double quote, so I'm going to release it. And I'm going to use it. And the same thing here. The slash always precedes the double quote, right? I didn't want to go over that too much, but they do have it in this example. It's just an easier rule of thumb not to use double quotes, but if you absolutely have to, you can use a release character like this, a slash. All right, we're back down into, we've got tags, we've got genres. Once again, these are not super critical, but do need to be included. Tags are going to be tags that you use. Genres, again, look Roku and search for Roku genres. They will give you the complete list of genres that they use. And then we end that record right here, because we know we've entered the record. We see an in curly brace and we see a comma. So we've now gone over one complete record in movies. Do want to talk quickly about some other things that are available within this, and we really haven't gone into that. One of the things we'll go into in a short, brief clip here is we're going to go into ad breaks, and so do expect a small clip in this section regarding ad breaks. But for now, we're going to conclude this video, and we're going to move on to the next topic.